What if I told you the $366 you spend on chicken feed every year produces inferior eggs while Asian farmers spend $40 and get deep orange yolks packed with omega-3s? Their chickens forage rice paddies and fermented scraps instead of eating bagged grain. Here's the feed-free system. Rice paddy integration. Thai and Vietnamese farmers release chickens into rice paddies after harvest. The paddies are full of fallen grain, weed seeds, insects, snails, and small frogs. Chickens spend weeks foraging this abundant buffet. They eat rice weevil larvae that would damage stored grain. They consume weed seeds, preventing next season's competition. They fertilize the field with nitrogen-rich manure. The farmer gets fed chickens and improved soil from space that was sitting idle between crops. Kitchen scrap fermentation. Japanese and Korean farmers ferment rice, vegetable scraps, and fruit peels, creating nutrient-dense chicken feed. Collect kitchen waste for 3 to 5 days in a bucket. Add bokashi bran, or let it ferment naturally with wild lactobacillus bacteria. The fermentation breaks down cell walls, making nutrients more digestible. Raw scraps are 60 to 70% digestible for chickens. Fermented scraps reach 85 to 95% digestibility. The beneficial bacteria in fermented feed colonize chicken guts, improving health and disease resistance. Mix fermented scraps with minimal grain supplement. The ratio is 70% fermented scraps to 30% rice bran or cracked corn. One family's kitchen waste feeds 4 to 6 chickens almost completely. Fly larvae production. Black soldier fly larvae convert compost into 40% protein chicken feed automatically. Set up a compost bin with a mesh lid, allowing adult flies to enter and lay eggs. The larvae hatch and consume food scraps at incredible rates. One colony processes 10 to 20 pounds of waste daily. When larvae mature, they instinctively crawl out seeking pupation sites. Place a collection bucket with a ramp at the bin edge. Larvae self-harvest by crawling down the ramp into the bucket. Every morning, you have fresh, high-protein larvae for your chickens. The flies are not pests. They don't enter homes or spread disease like houseflies. They only live near compost. One bin supporting black soldier fly colony provides supplemental protein for 6 to 12 chickens perpetually. This eliminates the need for expensive soy or fish meal protein supplements that commercial feed relies on. Garden bed rotation system. Asian farmers rotate chickens through garden beds between plantings. After harvesting summer vegetables, open that bed section to chickens. They scratch the soil surface eating weed seeds before they germinate. They consume insect eggs and larvae that would become next season's pests. They eat crop residues, breaking them down faster than decomposition alone. Their scratching incorporates these materials into soil. Their manure fertilizes directly where next crop will grow. After 2 weeks, move chickens to the next harvested section. The first bed has been cleaned, fertilized, and is ready for fall planting. This rotation gives chickens diverse food while preparing garden beds. You're feeding chickens and improving soil simultaneously instead of keeping them separate, and buying both feed and fertilizer. Mulberry leaf. Feeding Chinese farmers grow mulberry trees specifically for chicken feed. Mulberry leaves contain 15 to 28% protein depending on variety and season. That's higher protein than most commercial feeds. The trees produce continuously in warm climates. In temperate zones, they're deciduous but produce heavily spring through fall. Plant dwarf mulberry varieties around chicken runs. Harvest leaves daily and feed fresh to chickens. They devour the tender leaves eagerly. Older, tougher leaves can be chopped or wilted slightly to increase palatability. One mature mulberry tree provides enough leaves to supplement 4 to 6 chickens through the growing season. The trees also produce berries that chickens eat. The system is perennial. Plant once and harvest for 20-plus years. Silkworm farmers traditionally grew mulberry for worms, then fed leftover leaves to chickens, creating a dual-purpose system. Duckweed and azolla. Duckweed and azolla are aquatic plants that double in mass every 2 to 3 days under good conditions. They're 40% protein by dry weight. Grow them in small ponds, kiddie pools, or large containers with water. Harvest daily by scooping plants from the surface. Feed fresh to chickens who eat them eagerly. The plants regrow overnight. One kiddie pool of duckweed provides greens and protein for 6 chickens indefinitely. The plants need nitrogen to grow. Chicken manure provides nitrogen. Create a cycle where chicken manure fertilizes the water-growing duckweed, which feeds chickens producing more manure. Azolla additionally fixes atmospheric nitrogen through symbiotic cyanobacteria, making it self-fertilizing. These are the fastest growing plants on Earth. They're used throughout Asia as duck and chicken feed. Setup requires a water container and starter plants. Maintenance is scooping and feeding daily. No other inputs needed. Banana stem and tropical waste. Filipino and Indonesian farmers utilize banana plantation waste for chicken feed. After harvesting banana bunches, the pseudostem is cut down. This stem is mostly water and fiber, but chickens eat it chopped. It provides hydration, minerals, and gut-filling bulk. Banana leaves similarly are chopped and fed. The trees produce continuously in tropical climates, providing year-round chicken feed from what would otherwise be waste. Coconut plantations produce similar waste. Coconut meat scraps from copra production are fed to chickens. The healthy fats improve egg yolk quality and color. Palm kernel meal from palm oil production serves as protein-rich feed. Chickens in tropical Asia live under these plantation trees eating dropped fruit, insects attracted to fermenting fruit, and processed waste from harvest. The plantation benefits from chicken manure fertilizing trees. The chickens benefit from abundant free food. Insect protein harvesting. Southeast Asian farmers actively cultivate protein sources for chickens. Termite mounds are common in tropical areas. Farmers partially break open mounds, allowing chickens to feast on termites, which are 35% protein. The mounds rebuild and can be harvested again later. Cricket farming in containers provides another protein source. Small bins with grass clippings and vegetable scraps support cricket colonies. Harvest crickets weekly to feed chickens. Crickets are 60% protein and reproduce rapidly. Grasshoppers are caught in sweep nets from tall grass and fed to chickens. Some farmers create insect traps. A light over a water bucket at night attracts flying insects which fall into water and drown. Morning collection provides insect protein for the flock. Earthworm beds. Using compost produce worms chickens devour. The worms process compost while providing protein. Every method taps into naturally abundant insect populations, converting them to chicken feed at zero cost. Perennial food forest for chickens. Korean and Japanese farmers plant perennial food sources around chicken areas, creating continuous supply. Comfrey grows vigorously, producing leaves high in protein and minerals. Chickens eat fresh leaves, or they can be wilted and chopped. Comfrey regrows after cutting, providing multiple harvests annually. Elderberry bushes produce berries chickens consume. The bushes also attract insects, which chickens hunt. Moringa trees in tropical climates drop protein-rich leaves chickens eat. The trees grow rapidly and tolerate heavy harvesting. Acorns from oak trees are traditional chicken feed in temperate zones. Chestnuts similarly provide carbohydrate-rich food. Persimmon trees drop fruit chickens eat whole. These perennials require initial planting but then produce for decades without replanting. The investment is one-time labor and minimal cost for seedlings. The return is perpetual chicken feed from plants that also provide shade, windbreaks, and ecosystem benefits. Design chicken runs with these perennials integrated. The chickens forage naturally while the plants produce continuously. This mimics forest floor foraging that jungle fowl, the chicken's ancestor, evolved eating. Coconut and palm waste. Utilization. Coconut is ubiquitous in tropical Asian chicken farming. After extracting coconut milk or oil, the remaining flesh is grated and fed to chickens. The medium-chain triglycerides in coconut fat are healthy for chickens and improve egg yolk quality. Chickens eating coconut produce eggs with rich orange yolks and creamy texture. Coconut meal, the pressed cake after oil extraction, is commercially available in coconut-producing regions for minimal cost. It serves as both protein and energy source. The meal is 20% protein and 40% fat, making it nutrient-dense. Palm kernel meal from palm oil production similarly is available cheaply in Southeast Asia. It's 18% protein and 8% fat. These byproducts of other industries become chicken feed inputs at a fraction of commercial feed cost. A 50-pound bag of coconut meal costs $10 to $15 and feeds 12 chickens for 2 to 3 weeks. Compare that to 50 pounds of commercial feed costing $18 to $22, lasting the same period. The savings are modest per bag but significant annually. More importantly, these are locally available renewable resources, supporting the regional economy rather than imported industrial feed, supporting multinational corporations. Why commercial feed? Fails commercial chicken feed creates dependency. It's formulated to maximize egg production and confine birds with zero foraging opportunity. The feed companies breed chickens to need this specific nutrient profile. If you stop feeding commercial ration, production drops immediately because the birds are adapted to it. This dependency is profitable for feed companies but fragile for chicken keepers. Feed prices fluctuate with commodity markets. Corn and soy prices spike during droughts or supply disruptions. Your chicken feed costs double overnight. You have no alternative except to pay or cull your flock. The nutritional quality of commercial feed is questionable. Eggs from confined chickens on commercial feed have pale yellow yolks and low omega-3 content. The feed is primarily corn and soy with synthetic vitamin supplements. This creates nutritionally inferior eggs compared to forage-based eggs. Studies show pastured eggs have 2 to 3 times the omega-3 fatty acids and significantly higher vitamin E and beta-carotene. The deep orange yolks from forage-fed chickens indicate high carotenoid content from eating greens and insects. Pale yolks indicate the chicken ate only grain. The environmental impact of commercial feed is enormous. Millions of acres grow corn and soy exclusively for animal feed. Those monocultures require heavy fertilizer and pesticide application. The resulting nutrient runoff pollutes waterways, causing algae blooms and dead zones. The feed is transported long distances, consuming fossil fuels. Asian feed-free systems use local resources. Yet kitchen scraps that would rot in landfills become chicken feed. Garden waste becomes chicken food. Insects that exist naturally are harvested. Nothing is transported. Nothing is imported. The chickens integrate into existing systems, providing value through waste utilization and fertility recycling. Chickens on commercial feed are input-dependent consumers. Chickens on forage-based Asian systems are ecosystem participants providing multiple functions simultaneously. Your first month feed-free start by reducing commercial feed by half. Supplement the other half with fermented kitchen scraps. Collect all rice, vegetable peels, fruit scraps, and wilted greens. Ferment for 3 to 5 days in a bucket. Mix the fermented scraps with remaining commercial feed. Your chickens now eat 50% less purchased feed. Observe egg production. It should remain steady because you're providing diverse nutrition through scraps. Next, establish a foraging rotation. Divide your chicken run into 3 sections with temporary fencing. Allow access to one section at a time for 1 week. They forage intensely in that section, eating all insects and greens. Move them to Section 2. Section 1 recovers and regrows. By the time they rotate back to Section 1 in 3 weeks, it has fresh forage again. This prevents overgrazing while maximizing forage nutrition. Week 3, start a black soldier fly larvae bin. Order larvae online or find a local source to establish your colony. Within 2 weeks, you'll have daily larvae harvest. Feed larvae to chickens every morning. The high protein from larvae further reduces need for commercial feed. Week 4, plant your first perennial chicken feed sources. Buy 2 mulberry trees if in temperate climate or banana plants if tropical. Plant them adjacent to the chicken run. They won't produce significantly for a year, but you're establishing long-term feed sources. By month end, you're feeding 30 to 40% commercial feed, supplemented with fermented scraps, forage rotation, and larvae. Your feed costs dropped by 60%. Over the next 6 months, continue reducing commercial feed as forage systems mature and you optimize scrap collection. By month 12, you're feeding minimal purchased inputs, primarily a small amount of grain or fish meal during winter when forage is scarce. The system is resilient. If commercial feed becomes unavailable or unaffordable, your chickens continue thriving on forage and scraps. The cost reality commercial feed costs $366 annually for 12 chickens. Asian forage system costs $40 for minimal winter grain supplement. Over 5 years, that's $1,830 versus $200. You save $1,630 while producing superior eggs and building garden fertility. That's wealth from waste.